Welcome to Broadish. The gang is back in town for our
Yeah.
goodbye show. I'm Felicia Madison. We have Hollie Harper, Jocelyn Chia, and back with us is, I'm just going to say Dhaya.
No, say the whole thing.
Lakshminarayanan.
Felicia, you can do it.
I can do it, girl.
Lakshminarayanan.
Yeah.
Felicia always says my name perfectly. I don't
Yeah.
see the problem. You're amazing.
She just has imposter syndrome.
No,
Fantastic.
she's great. Felicia has many friends of many different ethnicities. She's very down with the brown.
Down with the brown.
brown, love it.
I need to be a little more
She's
brown.
cool with
I've
the
gotten-
yellow too.
I know
Is she?
I've gotten very pale, but I was putting this board up. It says "Parting Such Sweet Sorrow," and I was thinking, what does that actually mean? Why
Right.
there's nothing sweet about
Sweet
this.
about it. I know. There's nothing sweet about. I mean,
No, I'm like-
unless you're like, oh my god, I'm so glad to get rid of this loser. Well, then that's sweet. But then there's no sorrow there, right?
Yeah, a lot of sorrow. But this has been a fun year. We've had a lot of really fun topics. A lot of crazy things happened this year,
Yeah,
and I
what a
thought
year.
we would just maybe quickly go through them and end with a final topic. So this was fun, which brought up a lot of topics. Meet the Coopers.
Oh.
But this encompasses so many things. The whole Black Lives Matter movement, the whole Karen movement, the whole everything movement. We had a
Karen
lot
movement.
of
It's a movement.
we had a lot of fun and a lot of topics with this. I wonder where these two people are now.
Well, you don't know this bitch is back talking
Yes.
about I'm suing for my job back and I take back everything I said. I really was supposed to call the police. What else was I going to do? She was on Barry Weiss's, the whitest woman in the whole world. She was on Barry Weiss's podcast, totally backtracking, all of her admitting she was wrong and just being like, he threatens me.
Wow.
He had an aggressive stance and he yelled at me. And I had no choice but to call the police. It's like, bitch, please.
Yeah.
Please. I can't.
Yeah, Barry Weiss is like a super ultra conservative and very wrong on all the issues. But the thing that struck me is like she's like digging out all of this stuff. She's like, one time, and this is very sad. She was like, I was assaulted in the park when I was a kid, and I was like, that I have empathy for women, and that's horrible. And I'm like, that's why they say that phrase, hurt people.
Yeah.
Because you were hurt, you can't take it out on someone who's an innocent man who's literally doing the least violent thing in the world, which is watching birds. Like that, nothing ever happens when people watch. I mean, they flap and they fly around. I mean, he's literally not hurting anyone. So that's why you got to check yourself, go to therapy. Like if something bad happens in your life, work through it, but don't take it out on other people that don't deserve it.
I know, but it kills me about that. And the thing is, I do agree with that hurt people. But on the other hand, I'm kind of like, Black people, the descendants of slaves, and Black people just lived through everything from peonage, Jim Crow, civil rights era, mass incarceration. Imagine if we were hurt people that hurt people. Like shit, we could be Nat Turner every goddamn day, but we don't. You know what I mean? Because we are not the hurt people that hurt people. So I'm just kind of like, I get it that she's been assaulted and she does need to deal with that. You're absolutely right on that. But I'm just like, girl, for you to use that, like, okay, I don't know if she uses that, but I hope she doesn't use that as a crutch that one time she was assaulted by somebody. Because I'm like, girl, take a number. Do you know what I mean? Like, who do you know anybody? Do you know any woman that hasn't been sexually harassed? Or any Black person that hasn't been profiled, or any melanated person, period, that hasn't been discriminated against in any kind of way. She just needs to shut up and learn about why she needs to hurt people.
Right.
She needs to deal with that.
The other thing is there were anonymous witnesses that came forward saying he had been in the park before and he asked us not to bring our dogs in the bird watching area. And I'm like, he's this very like sweet gay guy who just wants to look at the birds and you're obstructing his view with the dogs. So of course he's going to ask you nicely to not bring your dogs. But all of those anonymous witnesses were probably like threatened because of how he looks, not because he was like, I can't imagine someone who's a bird watcher being aggressive. You know, like that's just not a sport that you're gonna be like aggro about. So
Yeah.
But also, like to me, it's like, so what does a predator look like? Because to people who look at him and be like, he's a black man and he scares me because he's a black man standing there. And it's like, well, to a lot of black women, that looks like a white man. You know what I mean? To a lot of white women, that looks like a white. This looks like a man, period. You know what I mean? This looks like, or in whatever, like if you've been, there are women who've been beat up by other women. I just kind of feel like for him to be like, well, he was there and he was a man and he used a deep voice. Like that's half she did. He used this loud, aggressive voice. Like what's he supposed to sound like? So I just call such bullshit on this one.
Yeah.
She's just bullshit.
I'm getting kind of turned on, like very sweet gay man who likes birds with a deep voice. I'm always attracted to guys who don't like me.
Well, there was that one good comedian that said, well, she had the worst luck in the world to bump into the only black man that's a bird watcher in Central Park. That was his joke. That was his joke, not mine. But she's at rock bottom, so I guess she feels like she has nothing to lose. So why not? I don't know.
I mean, like even George Wallace turned around and made amends at the end of his life. Whether it was legit or not, nobody knows. But apparently, and even Strom Thurmond, most disgusting person ever, he made amends and started like trying to appoint black people into his office and do things in South Carolina. Even like hardcore racists have repented in their life. And Amy can't. Like, you can do it. Come on.
Yeah, and I hate the
she's
whole.
not at the end of her life yet. Let's give her a few decades.
Yeah, I feel like also, the one bad thing that came out of this, which I still, I know we talked about like me not being a Karen. I am not, but
You're not a Karen.
I know, but I hate the whole concept of it being associated with white women and them like telling us. I mean, I know what Karen generically means like these anti bad people that are not just I want to talk to the manager thing, but it sort of became a shut up white women comment, which I kind of don't like.
But it's a shut up white women who seek to remove black people from public space. I mean, there's a very long history of Karen. If you want to look at like an early Karen, you look at the movie 12 Years a Slave. Sarah Paulson's character, I'm sorry, Lord have mercy, I'm so sorry. Sarah Paulson's character was a straight up Karen.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's a long history of racist white women removing black people from space. Carolyn Bryant, who had Emmett Till killed, she was a Karen. You know what I'm saying? Like Karen. So if you're not that racist white woman who seeks to remove black people or just melanated people from public space, then that's not you. But there is a very long history of Karen. And the reason why Karen stuck is because it was like, holy shit, I know exactly who that is.
On the flip side, you have all these anti-Karen white women standing up against their Karen brethren. So
yeah, you do. So I'm like, when I see white women who are like, no, don't be like that. I'm like, thank you. Help these people move through it and stop doing this. Like,
yeah, we should give them a name too. We'll call them Felicia.
Yeah.
Yes, Felicias are people who know how to say hello, Felicia. Felicias are people who can say other people's names properly. They respect people of different backgrounds and ethnicities and are warm and welcoming. We need more Felicias.
I'm
gonna miss this show so much. You guys are too nice to me.
Oh, you're really pretty. That's why I'm nice to you.
Oh my God, you're funny.
But to just like, what other ethnicity or group has a name associated with them that is so negative? I mean, I guess all white men are Karens.
Oh my God. I
Well,
mean, but you look at it like, look at the welfare queen.
Yes.
Stereotype that we've had. I mean, stereotypes against people of color are all based on some horrible image that we see.
So I think she says you never had a name, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about just like Karens. Like, there's no like white male version of a
they
man.
They call them Kens. It hasn't picked up as strongly, but I do see people on social media call them Karens and Kens.
Really?
Okay.
I think the thing is, we don't have data to show that the term Karen has caused violence against white women. But we have shown that things like Dragon Lady or China virus or things like that have caused violence against people who are named that. So I live in a nice neighborhood in San Francisco, and recently an Asian woman was just jogging in my nice neighborhood, and a group of teenage white boys beat her up. She has bruises all over. So anti-Asian hate is because of Donald Trump saying these names about us. And it affects Jocelyn more than me, because people look at me and they don't even know I'm Asian. They're like, hey, do you speak Spanish? What's a good place for burritos? Like, they don't even know what I am. But anti-Asian hate is real because those names have caused violence against those people.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay, let's move on to a more fun topic. And before we get into how to snag a man, that was a fun topic. I do want to just say that it was one of my favorite episodes, was talking about beauty. And I think Jocelyn said that, like, how do I stay so young? So that's my favorite topic.
Yeah, I want to know. Let's all do our
Yeah, she
beauty
got mad
tips.
at me when I said it's just genetic.
That's great.
I asked Sarah Silverman what her secret was. It was no alcohol. I asked Esther Koo, also super young looking comedian, also no alcohol. So I was like, damn, I'm cutting out my alcohol. So I gave myself a 2-drink maximum per week. I exceeded that by 100% this past week. So I wasn't working.
I was like, I could do that. I thought you meant per night. And I was like, I could do that.
No, per week. I couldn't. I failed. I had 4 drinks this past week.
Do you think it's because we're always getting free drinks? Because the nature of our business being in comedy clubs.
Yeah.
I mean, the bartenders are really nice to us. Audience members are like, do you want a drink? We get drink tickets. Do you think it's hard to maintain beauty when we get free access to alcohol?
That's exactly why I exceeded my limit. You know, a audience member was from Singapore. He was like, oh, let me get you a drink. And the waitress was like, oh, you get free drinks here anyway, but he wants to buy you a drink. I was like, all right, well, put it on his tab then.
No, but I think you're right. I do think it's genetic. I mean, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I am good looking. And it's like, no, like my grandmother, to this day, I have never seen any woman better looking than my grandmother, even as an old lady. And even as an old lady, she had gentlemen callers would just come and sit for some pound cake and some tea. You know what I mean? And it's just like this.
Did they get a pounding afterwards too?
No, that's my girl. But God damn it, watch your mouth, girl. I fed you, bitch.
Pounding for pound cake.
I fed you. No, I get no. That's funny though.
It's frustrating.
That's offensive, but it's funny.
Yeah, it's frustrating though, because I mentioned to someone the other day that I saw this job description for, a host of a show saying, do you like fashion? Do you like current events? Are you witty? Are you quick? And I was reading it and I was like, oh my God, check me.
Yeah.
And then it got, and she needs to appear 18 to 29. I was like, and I'm like, why does that matter? I mean,
they want that Zoomer money. They want that Zoomer money. They want that Generation Z Zoomer money. So
do your own fashion show, Felicia.
I have those Generation Zoomers. I'm giving them money.
There you go. Well, there you go. Another case of like genetics and beauty. Like your daughters are gorgeous. They are
gosh.
Oh my God.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
You pass down your beauty. And I bet you your mama is a hottie. You know what I'm saying? So
maybe you should do a show with your daughters. Like,
I can't get my daughters to like even pay attention to me.
Your son loves you. He's
my
like
son
so proud
loves
of
me.
you.
My son loves me. I have a 19-year-old, but I had to hire a 19-year-old to help me. I had an intern this summer. I literally had to hire a daughter alike to like help me with everything. They don't want to do anything with me. I just whatever. But that's what you do when you're a parent. You want them to go and be gone more often.
I know. My daughter Luna's 14 now, so she spends a lot more time with her friends, and so sometimes I'm like, I'm cool too. I know things too. I could hang out. She's like, yeah, I just need your money. Okay.
Yeah, weren't you the one that told me that she asked you to walk behind you?
Yeah, that was humbling. That was humbling. It was very humbling because I never forget. I thought I looked really good that day. I was like, hey. She's like, can you just walk? And I was thinking to myself, like, I look better than you right now. Like, what is?
And you're like, this is what I gave my career up for.
No, but I had real flashbacks. I did it to my mom, and I remember getting out the station wagon in the 80s and being like, can you walk behind me? So I'm like, well, all right, this is what it is.
What is it? You
Pass
guys
the
are embarrassed
torch.
to be seen with your moms?
It's just like, you know, I just remember being a teenager and just like looking at my mom just being like, oh my God, like you're cramping my style.
You're
Like,
cramping my
Yeah.
style.
like, ew, fall back. You know what I mean? I guess
Fall back.
I'm cramping her style, you know, she's all cute. And, you know, Zoomers, they reject skinny jeans. Like, you know,
Yep.
here I am in my skinny jeans and she's like, Mom, skinny jeans are over. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, I'm cramping her style. I'm wearing all the wrong things.
I didn't know. So what's in after skinny jeans?
Oh, the wide leg pants. Oh, honey, they declared it. They laugh at millennials. They have like little memes like skinny jeans from my cold dead hands, like a millennial, like like holding on.
Jeez, wow.
Yeah, they said skinny jeans are over. And they make fun of us.
Good, because I don't fit into them anymore.
Yeah.
Girl, please. Felicia's like a size -2. What are you talking about?
When we were kids, my brother, like one time came home and he was so upset. He's like, do you know what Dad did? He came to school today wearing his sandals and he said hi to the cheerleaders. I'm so embarrassed. Because he was wearing like his Indian man sandals and he was just being friendly. He's like, hello, cheerleaders, what's up? And my brother was mortified and he was complaining to me. I was like, we are never going to change this man. He's just going to be himself. And now I find it really refreshing. I love hanging out with him because he doesn't give a shit. Like we were at Whole Foods and he put a bunch of stuff in the basket and then he looked at the price and he was like, this is bad. And he just left the cart with all the items and he rage quit Whole Foods. Yeah. So he's like the Indian Larry David. Like it's so amusing hanging out with him because he doesn't give a fuck about how people perceive him. So it'll come back around because remember how all the young people used to love Ruth Bader Ginsburg? Mm-hmm. I think at a certain point, like people begin to like older people as they age into just being themselves.
Interesting. I love that. Hello, cheerleaders. How did the cheerleaders respond?
What's that?
Okay.
So how did they respond?
Oh, I wasn't there. My brother just like, you know, was in the office or saw my dad or he had to drop something off for my brother. But they were probably nice. They probably said hi back. I mean, like, you know, nobody likes parents. Nobody likes, you know, so, you know, it was one of those things that I think he was just like being friendly. But yeah, it was not as mortifying as my brother thought at the time.
Well, I guess we don't have much to say about how to snag a man. We really got off topic there.
We have more on like how to turn off cheerleaders.
Yeah, I can't remember what we even discussed in that topic on that episode.
I think you were talking about how you got your husband, shit or get off the pot, that kind of thing.
Yeah, you know, but
and then Hollie talked about her husband.
Oh, I don't remember what I said.
You said you eyed him at the club. You like,
oh, I did. I eyed him and I was like, lock.
And then you're like, excuse me, I need to talk to, what's his name again? Ray?
Keith Sagel. I was like, yeah, I'll be right back. I'm gonna talk to Keith Sagel. And he's like, yeah. Keith Sagel.
Exactly, so cute.
Okay, well, we'll have to work on how to snag a man for you too. We'll give you, maybe that'll be our next show. Setting up Dhaya and Jocelyn, how to snag a man for them.
Yes.
We'll give you.
I always want to be Mumble. She wanted to sell this app where moms can choose for their kids.
Mumble.
I can snag a lot of hot, smart guys, but they also prefer each other. So that's my issue.
There you go.
Well, that's great. You can still marry them. No sex. Great.
True. Everyone has an open relationship now, so.
In San Francisco, yes.
Really? I'm like, what do you mean they do? What happened? I didn't get the memo.
I mean, I'm not in that, but people are saying that people, not just, like a lot of people want to have like open relationships. They're like polyamorous or all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, why do you want to have multiple? I don't even have one. Like the law of averages is not working out. Like, so.
I heard it's very big in the Bay Area for some reason.
Really? Yeah. I just always feel like, yeah, that works until somebody gets shot. You know what I mean? Like, people always say, oh, you can see somebody else until you see a girl that looks like you, but just better than you.
Mm.
and then you're not happy anymore. So I don't, I don't really see men being like, sure, go ahead.
Well, it's never been men that have wanted it because they've always had open relationships.
They just cheat.
They just cheat. So it's really just
Cheat.
women saying, like, you know what? Let's make it, if we're gonna do, because like I remember this happened with my husband. I said to him, if he ever cheated on me, I believe it takes two to tango, and that I would, go into therapy, and I wouldn't necessarily divorce him right away because
Wow.
yeah. So I had this whole long conversation with him, and I said, well, what would you do if I cheated? And he said, I would leave you in a second.
Yes. Yes, they would. Men would not be like, let's get into therapy. They'd be like, this
Right.
bitch is cheating.
Yeah. I heard men have much lower tolerance level. I think it's the
But they're more likely to cheat, so it's weird.
exactly right. I know. It's so hypocritical.
It's a
Yeah.
power thing.
Yeah,
But
I feel like-
what I read, the biological explanation is that if a woman cheats, then they don't know for sure that their kids are theirs. But if a guy cheats, the woman knows the kid is from him if he's the only one she's been sleeping with. So there is less like biological incentive for her to leave because she still would need his resources because who else is going to provide for her? And if he's an alpha male, he has enough resources to spread over a few women. So that's why women, biologically speaking anyway, have less incentive to just leave a guy if he cheats. But men, biologically speaking, do.
But
in
that's
the
also why men didn't want women to work. They don't want us to have the power to leave.
Yeah.
So that's actually, so couple of things. In India, the divorce rate is increasing. And a lot of the conservatives are like, oh, this is terrible. Society is crumbling. It's because of Western influence. No, it's because women are entering the workforce. They're not, being arranged so young. They have the autonomy to finally leave because they have resources. So
Yeah, good for
when
them.
women enter the workplace and they have their own lives, divorce is going to increase because you're not so dependent. But
True.
the biological explanations for cheating or whatever, they're all flawed because our best examples are from nature and animals are just fucked. The silverback gorilla will kill its own kid because it doesn't want the baby gorilla to grow up and be dominant. So the silverback is the alpha. So he's always trying to kill his kids. So we can't really look at biology as a good, comparison to
You can't always, yeah, but I think in general, I mean, there are very few animals that kill their own kid, right? This is like one. So generally speaking, they do want to protect their kids.
And there are also
They'll
very
leave
few.
them, though.
There are very few
They're
animals
weak, they'll
that
leave them. There's lots of animals. If you're the weak one, they will leave.
Exactly.
ditch you.
All the
They'll ditch you.
animals like either kill or they leave or they push the baby out or whatever. But there's some animals that mate for life. Chimpanzees
Penguins.
are horrible to each other. They beat each other up. Bonobos have sex with each other all the time. Men, women, agender, whatever. But there is incentive in the primates who are closest to us for the women to cheat because if they're with a guy and they're mating and she doesn't like his genetics, like he's not strong enough or fast enough, she will download cheat with someone else so she can pass on better genes to her kid. So the biological comparisons, we can find data to support whatever opinion we want.
Well,
yeah, but
I
I
feel
wasn't talking about a woman not cheating. I was talking about a woman not leaving if the guy cheats, right? So that was my explanation. So her having more incentive to cheat actually was not related to what I was saying.
Okay.
And also, I feel like marriage and also heterosexuality in general is a governmental construct. That's just because there's no other species, I think, that is purely, doesn't have homosexual tendencies or all of these. It's like normal. It's something that
Look at the Romans. They were all homosexual.
well, society has made it that way because it's made it tax incentives and trying to keep people together. It's solely a governmental construct. I don't think anywhere else. I mean, obviously, animals don't get married.
Some people do that to their animals. Yeah, a little
But,
cat wedding.
I don't know. I remember I was talking to a girlfriend of mine who was with her boyfriend for a very long time. I'm like, "You gonna get married?" And she's like, "I make more money than him, and I don't want children. Why would I get married?" And I'm like,
Right. Good for her.
Interesting.
I'm like, I can't think of one reason.
Yeah.
I find
Be
it
married.
I find it most annoying when I'm invited to weddings and they only want you to bring someone that you're married to or seriously dating or whatever.
That's
and I'm
rude.
like, I'm like, why would I want to come to your wedding and sit at the single person table with all your boring friends? I might as well bring one of my
They're
entertaining
single for a
gay guy
reason.
friends. Yeah, I'm like, why I might as well bring an entertaining gay guy friend who's gonna dance with me and interesting conversation, and I'll have fun at your boring ass wedding.
And he looks good.
Yeah,
I
and
find
he's
that
good.
really rude and intrusive. And it's like, to me, that's like a whole side wedding thing. Like, I feel like people are getting a little crazy with these weddings. Like, I mean, just like, they'll only invite someone that you're really close to, or like, or you're serious about. Like, why is that your business?
Well,
We're
they're
celebrating your
paying
wedding.
for it. Yeah, they're paying
But
for
we're
it.
coming
And they feel
with
like
a gift. We're
I
doing a
know.
dress.
They
shoes,
wanted to
taking
be
off work.
someone. They wanted to be someone that's going to last. I remember I had a huge fight with my husband going to a family bar mitzvah, and we were dating for a very long time. I think we were like maybe about to get engaged, but I wasn't included in the family picture, which is like a big deal. And I remember being so mad because like they wanted to have to like wipe me out, I guess, if I didn't work, wipe me out. Would have been
Yo,
pretty
I
easy.
told you about my sister-in-law, on my sister-in-law's side, my brother's wife. She was telling me about how she's a family member that makes the girlfriends, even a fiance, when they take family photos, stand on the edge and so they can be cropped out
Oh
if
damn!
it doesn't work out. I was like,
Wow.
what? So I kept thinking to myself, like, you know, like August 21st will be 23 years for me and Keith. It'll be 23 years we're married. And it's like, I realized, like, for the past 10 years, I've been standing in the middle photo, like,
Yes,
I'm up in
Yes.
this. You see me up in this, right? Brought forth these two kids. Yup, say thank you. That's right.
you earned that
I
middle
earned my
row.
spot in the middle, please.
In a bright red dress, right?
But the thing is, I get it that they want the guests to work out, but 50% of marriages end in divorce. So
Thank you.
are you gonna guarantee that the present that I gave you are gonna return it when you get divorced? Because I want my present back if you get divorced.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. Let me tell you something. I've gone to a lot of weddings of people that split up like under 2 years. I went to a wedding, we see people split up a few months later. I was pissed. I was like, I hadn't even worn this dress a few more times. And you guys are getting divorced. I want my gift back. I want my vase.
Right.
My vase
Craziest
back.
thing to me is when they've been living together for a few years and then get married and then divorce in a few months. I'm like, what the fuck was the difference? You're already living
Yeah,
together.
what happened?
What happened? Yeah.
Yeah, Jocelyn, what's your theory on that? That's really unusual.
That is really unusual, right?
No, but
I
it
have
does
no theory
happen.
on that.
It
Do you?
does happen. People
Yeah.
who live together for a while and then they get married and get divorced. It's like,
I would have to
Okay,
say
wait.
it
No,
has
I have one theory.
Yes.
That they still kept it together while they're living together, but not married. But after they sealed the deal, then the real them really came out.
Well, like someone said, I had to be on my best behavior for 3 years while I was dating him. But you know, I guarantee you it had to do with money.
Yeah?
Okay.
Why?
I don't know. They just probably had to file taxes differently, and they had to like pay for things differently, and I'm sure one made more than the other, and it's always about money.
I heard it's a big cause of friction in a couple. I don't know about always, but it's a big one.
Yeah.
But you know what? Then people, getting back to weddings, people are weird about weddings, period. Like, have you guys seen this thing about people who don't show to a wedding getting a bill? Like getting a bill.
Yeah.
And I'm
What
kind
about
of
the-
like,
what about the cash bar at a wedding?
girl, I have a real problem with that. If you don't have enough money to have a full bar, you just get a certain amount of liquor and call it a day. I've been to a few weddings with cash bars. I was offended. I was like,
Yeah.
this is BS. This
Yeah.
would serve me a little dry ass chicken, and then I'd serve like $8 for gin and tonic. No,
Yeah.
no.
I want my gift back. Okay, let's move on. We have 2 more topics and then we'll end. This was an interesting one. Brittany Bitch. She seems to be making some headway though, right? They're now
Yes.
asking for it to be overturned immediately. It's just so hard. Although I have to say, I've seen some things that she's doing, not to brand a woman or anything, but she's been doing some stuff on social media that is a little questionable. And I'm thinking, like,
What's she
maybe
do?
she's
What's going on?
nothing that terrible. And I guess if any other woman did it, or if, like you said, what we discussed in our episode, if a man did something, that it'd be okay. But she's just like flashing herself and doing like, you think
That's every
you
day
think
on
she'd be-
Instagram.
I know, you think she'd be like keeping it low and on the low profile to get this overturned. She's just not behaving in a way
Listen,
that
isn't that the whole point? That she should be able to do what she wants.
Yeah,
You know
but
what
I guess what Felicia is saying is like act in a way that's gonna get you what you want, and then go crazy. Kind of like before you get married, act in a way that's gonna get you what you want, and then go crazy.
It's like when I go shopping and my husband comes home, I'm like, "Hey, honey, how was your day?"
He's like,
Does
"What'd
he
you
know
buy?"
now? Does he know you went shopping when you do that?
Yeah, he knows when he comes home at night. He's like, "Oh, you went shopping today?"
So funny.
Why do people still do that? They do that at every age. And I forget, my daughter learned how to do that. She was like 8 years old. She's like, "Mama, you look so skinny. Can I have $20?" You look so skinny. Can I have $20?
Damn.
Rosie will do it too. He'd be like, "Oh, such a small waist."
I did watch the Britney documentary, but there's two female comedians in LA who have been really spearheading a lot of the Free Britney movement. Do you guys know Barbara Gray, Babs Gray, and then Tess? They talk about it on their podcast. They were featured in the documentary. So there's a connection here for us. Like, women comedians are really like helping with this movement.
Awesome.
So women comedians helping the Britney cause. Hannibal brought down Bill Cosby.
You
So
sure did.
I think we have a role in society. So this makes me happy.
Yeah, good.
Free Britney, free Britney. That'll be our next. We should have chosen that as our name instead of Broadish. Okay, Biles back out. This has been getting a lot of press too. A lot of funny things have been happening. One of the was it Djokovic who said she should learn how to behave, and if you're going to be an athlete, had learned how to handle stress. And then
Who said this?
Djokovic, the tennis player, Djokovic. And then like the next day he lost and he was on TV like throwing his tennis racket.
Emotional man.
And Michael Chi is in trouble with it also. Did you hear about that?
Chi? Is it Chi or
Just
Chi?
cause he
Michael
retweeted
Che?
a joke. Michael
It's
Che.
Chi?
Michael
Okay, no,
Che.
I've been saying it wrong. Okay.
Yeah,
No,
Michael
you're
Che.
right.
Sorry, Michael Che. He said something kind of derogatory.
Felicia, you can't pronounce Lakshminarayanan.
Yeah.
You
No,
can't
but
do
Lakshminarayanan.
three letters.
I like that Felicia can say my name, but she doesn't care about someone more famous than me. So she's like, Michael, whatever. But Dhaya,
Michael
I know how to
Chacha.
say her
Michael
name.
Chacha. Michael
You just
Chacha.
turned Michael Che Asian. Michael Chi.
Michael Che. Yeah. So, but wait. So he said that he had these things on his Instagram, and he actually said that his account got hacked.
Get the fuck
Which
out of
is such
here.
a lie. And then he
get outta
posted,
here.
if you guys want to censor me and want to take me down, once I make $900 million, I'll stop. So here's my PayPal account or something. He's been like so like cavalier about it. A lot of people were saying he's really not nice to women, and what he did with Biles was not good, but no one's going to take him down.
What
Really?
did
He's
he
been very
say?
supportive of Rosebud Baker.
He was?
He's been very supportive of Rosebud Baker. Has her opening for him, writing on his show, always putting her on his shows. I mean, I just know one example of a woman that he's been good to.
What did he say exactly about Simone Biles?
He basically opened his Instagram for people to make jokes about Simone Biles. And the thing is, like, okay, as a comedian, I feel like all comedians, we have the right to say what we want to say. You know what I mean? And I feel like everyone shouldn't be jumping on us all the time. But I also feel like as a Black woman, it just really sucks to see a black man use his platform to let people attack this young Black girl. Like, that just kind of leaves a nasty taste in my mouth. And it's kind of like, why are you using your platform to let people attack a Black girl?
Mm-hmm.
Like, really?
Yeah.
But still, he's got a right to say what he wants, and we have a right to say whatever back.
He said, man, I want to make fun of Simone Biles, followed by, I got 3 minutes of Simone Biles jokes in my head. I'm going to the cellar tonight to say them into a microphone.
I did hear that. He was actually right after me. Oh, no, two comics after me.
So,
and he went up, and it was kind of funny because I was sitting, after my set, I just want to watch Gary Gulman and Michael Che. So I just joined the audience, and Michael Che goes up, and he's like, yeah, you know, I hope you guys don't have Twitter, da da da. And so people were like, what did he do? What did he do? Like, they didn't know. And some people were like, who is he?
That's
and all the guys around me didn't know who he was. The couple of girls in front of me were like, what did he do? What did he do? So at least they knew who he was. But like the guys were like, who the fuck is this guy?
You remember the
who's this
jokes,
Michael
Jocelyn?
Chi?
Who is this Michael Chi?
We should call him Michael Chia.
That would really piss him off that we don't know how to pronounce his
We
name.
know Jocelyn, but who's this other guy?
He's
So
the
she-
husband I married who took my name.
There you go. There you go.
Okay, guys. Well, we're hoping she's doing well, and I feel like she's been going back and forth to performing, to participating. I know it's over, but she didn't participate in a lot of the Olympics, and a lot of people stepped up, and we had a lot of golds anyway without her. So good for
Yeah, I
America.
mean, they don't need
America.
Simone to carry them. You know what I mean? And this woman, this girl can do stuff. Like the stuff that she does is so far and above what the other gymnasts can do. They don't even know how to score her. So I feel like if she needs to take a summer off, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, okay. And her aunt died. You know what I mean? You know, she wasn't even letting that out. That was reason why she was really struggling with mental health. She's like millions of miles away. You know,
Yeah.
her aunt that she was very close to was dying. That would really mess with you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And when
Yeah.
you're running and jumping on a vault, that's not the time to be thinking about something else.
Right.
She's also a sexual assault survivor. All the stuff
Absolutely.
that went down with Larry Nassar. It took a long time for her to even come to terms with it and say it out loud that she had been one of the many victims of that predator. So she's gone through more in her young life than most professional athletes have gone through.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, not to
And
like
male
pile on Michael Che-
comedians too.
and that's pile on Michael Che. He's a comedian. He has the right to say anything he wants. But he did like put out use his platform for a joke that made fun of the fact that she's a sexual assault victim. And so I'm just
Yeah.
kind of like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Which Black Lives Matter, huh? Which ones?
Okay, guys, life after coronavirus. What comes next? Dhaya sent a very interesting article about how people's personalities have changed after COVID, and also discussed like people having to stay home. Like men, 70% of men were happier staying home, but only 40% of the women were.
Wonder why? Why is that so?
That's like my joke where I say how 1 in 9 women suffer from postpartum depression, but now they have paternity leave and they're sending the men home. So now 9 in 9 women are going to suffer from postpartum depression.
Nice joke.
It's like, who wants the men home?
I see.
Felicia,
So
you
this
should
is assuming
use,
these were married people.
yeah, you should definitely just use that statistic in your act because that's very on brand for you.
Totally.
You already have
Yeah,
a
you
joke
should.
about it. You take it and make it your own.
Well, the thing is, I can see how a lot of women feel this way. I mean, I gotta admit, I'm really lucky because my husband's been home this whole time, but he's really involved with the kids, like really involved. He knows their school schedules. He knows all their appointments, doctor, vaccination. He knows all of that. So it's like,
Well,
I
it's the
can't really
kids.
complain.
The kids aren't the problem. Does he know where the napkins are if you need napkins?
He does, but I will sometimes be like, that drawer, the other drawer, the only other drawer. Like,
I mean, I asked my husband, because I've been working really hard and the kids were home and there's a lot going on. I'm like, can you just put the placemats out for the table? And he's like, I can't find them. And he was looking in I'm like, he's like, where are they? I'm like, they're in the drawer under that thing that they've been for like 20 years. They haven't been moved. It's like, they're just not that helpful.
No, some men, dads, they really don't know. I asked somebody recently about a pediatrician and they were like, yo, go ask so-and-so. She knows all that. And I was like, what do you mean all that? She knows their doctors and all that. I'm like, you don't know who your kids' doctors are? I don't know. I just pay for it. I don't know. I'm like, wow, okay.
Yeah, but taking care of the kids isn't the problem.
I want to bring a joke, a Holly joke from the past. I hope your husband was not on the Zoom with the kids showing his ass because I heard that some people have done that on Zoom.
Yes, and I look better now though. I look better now.
I'm sure your asses look great the whole time, but I love that joke about the kids who was like, they're asking whose mom that?
Who that?
Who is that? Whose booty is that? I was like, whose booty is that?
Oh my God. What about the guy I'm having a senior moment that was like masturbating after
Jeffrey
Jeffrey
Toobin.
Toobin, yeah.
He's back. He has his job back.
he's back. I mean, and like I don't know. Like I said to my husband, I said, do you ever like at work have the desire to just like masturbate? Like, what woman is like, I just finished a meeting. I'm in the mood to masturbate right now. It just like doesn't happen.
What do your husband say?
He's like,
I'm
no.
It just seems like such a bad idea. Do you know what I mean? Like just on its face, like just a terrible idea.
No, I could understand like forgetting to turn it off, like whatever. But who like finishes a meeting? I mean, the women. I think we discussed this. The women in it must have been like really hot.
Yeah. Or he was watching porn while the meeting was going on.
Yeah, I think
There you
Jocelyn
go.
is right. I think that's what was going on.
I'm like, who does that? Did you see that interview when he first came back? Did you see that? Oh my God,
No.
it was so awkwardly uncomfortable. She was like, we have to discuss the elephant in the room, or I think there should have been not an elephant, but a snake maybe. But it was just such an awkward exchange.
We have to discuss the eggplant in the room.
Yeah, the eggplant in the room. But back to coronavirus. Okay, we're not.
Okay.
We discussed this a little before. Yes, well, Corona's gone now. It's Delta and all these other things. But what has changed, or what do you, other than like for us, we've really enjoyed doing Broadish. It sort of was what I call the great equalizer. Something I always wanted to do was a talk show, and now everyone was doing talk shows from their living room on Zoom. So we were just like everyone else. And now that we're all sort of getting back to our lives, we're going to take a break and maybe come back. Who knows? Figure out our next projects. But what has changed for you post-corona?
Well,
and
for
also,
me,
and also say the cool things that you have coming up so people can follow you.
oh God,
Why do we have nothing?
Well, I gotta admit, I've become way more selfish in COVID. It really made me think about stop having projects to push a massive thing forward. Start having projects for yourselves. Make it more about you. Make it more about you, and it really benefited me in a huge way. Not that I won't go back to doing projects for, like my sketch troupe. I love them. They're amazing. But I did realize that in the middle of COVID, I was like, you've been pushing a sketch show that, yes, I'm the head of the sketch show, but you've been pushing that for a decade.
Wow.
Really hard, and never having a project just for you, and COVID really made me realize, you know what, it is okay. Like, you know what, because honestly, I lost a very good friend early on in COVID, someone that we've been good friends, and then we got disconnected, and I was trying to make it back, and then they died. And then I realized, and then I realized, you know what, if my life was ending and I realized I didn't have time to do the things I wanted to do, that would really kill me. But that would really like kill me ahead of time. And so I'm like, no, I'm not going to wait until there's no more time. I'm going to really do something for myself. And it's okay to take time out, not be like, it's all about me from all on, but it's okay to take time and really focus on yourself.
Right. Well, I was wondering, as you were saying that, if that was a Corona thing or if that was just like getting older, because I sort of feel the same way. And it's not so much COVID that did it, but I dedicated my life to my family and to my children and to raising them and keeping things together. And I feel like it's my time now. And I feel like
it is.
Yeah, it's like, fuck the kids, fuck the husband.
They don't even give you attention anyway.
Yeah, and I just kind of feel like it's time. But then from what I said before, it's frustrating because now like no one wants an old white lady. They want the 18 to 29-year-old.
That's not true.
That's not true. That show Hacks is really good.
Oh my God, that show is amazing.
I love that show.
Yeah.
That show is absolutely amazing. And it's not true that people don't want white women. Other white women want other white women. And there are women of every race that have white female friends.
Yeah, also, Felicia, I heard you killed on that last show of the whole Jewish crowd.
Also, have you been
peeps.
seeing White Lotus is really good. It has like two very strong female leads that are Jennifer Coolidge, who I love, and then the other woman whose name I'm forgetting. It's a really good show.
Yeah, I love her. Connie Britton.
Yes, she's so good.
I love her. I'm not loving the show, but I love Connie Britton.
Yeah, the show is hard to get behind because everyone is so selfish.
And there's nothing also like that's really keeping me from watching other than to find out who died, you know.
Oh God damn it! I didn't know that was about. Okay, all right.
No,
Okay.
it's the first. It's in the first episode. There's like
Oh,
a
okay.
casket.
I'm sorry, my bad. I changed the subject. I apologize, but I wanted to give a shout out because Holly talked about how you've changed, but I wanted to also promote each other because Holly, you have something going on Brick, right?
Yeah. Well, I had 4-episode late night comedy talk show. It was great.
Nice.
And I'm really happy. I'm going to be talking with them soon about a season 2. I hope everything goes as planned.
Yes.
Yes. So, I mean, that's, and what's come out of that, I'm working on a Spotify project.
Yes.
Where, they had like a Spotify competition and this, about a dozen people got chosen for it. And working with a really amazing Indian writer. Her name is Pratima Mani. And it's a audio comedy that I'm working on. I'm punching up jokes and working on casting for her Spotify project. And it's been going really well.
Nice.
So it's a hilarious, I can't because I have NDA. So I can't tell. It's a really amazing, she's a really amazing writer. And,
okay, share it when you can. I can't
Yeah,
wait.
it sounds awesome.
Yeah, and so I'm just happy to be on her team. So that's what's up with that. So it's like hella late. People have been seeing me and they've been seeing the different strengths that I have as a comedian with writing and producing and this. And so that's really good. And I just want good things to happen. So we'll see.
And
That's really
hopefully they
cool.
will. And Jocelyn, you're signed with Live Nation and you're at the Comedy Cellar.
Yes,
Touring.
signed with Live Nation, international tour in the works, assuming Delta counts down. And at the Cellar now, so you can check the website. I have a TV show on Discovery Plus with Anthony Anderson coming out in September, so that's pretty cool.
What do you mean? You have a TV show coming out?
Not like me and him are the co-stars, but I'm in one episode and Anthony Anderson is in it.
That's hot. That's hot.
Yeah.
Where are you going on tour? Can you tell us yet or no?
The plan is for 2022 Australia and Asia, and then for the fall will be Europe.
Okay. So Jocelyn, as a talent booker, I have to say that I really think your tour would benefit from an old white lady opening for you.
But God, that is
Thank you. I'll keep that in mind.
Jocelyn,
my professional opinion.
Congratulations. That is so wonderful.
That's awesome.
Oh
yeah.
my God. 22 cities?
Oh no, 2022. In 2022, that's where I'll be touring Asia and Australia. Because my manager is the head of Live Nation Asia Pacific, so he's in charge of Asian.
Well, I don't know if they're going to want you because you might set it on fire again.
Did I set something on fire?
Yeah, you're just so hot.
Oh, you're so sweet.
No, that's wonderful,
girl.
And Dhaya, what's in store for you? What's on the horizon?
The pandemic changed me in that it was hard for us to do stand up. So I did a ton of writing and joined the WGA. So I did enough writing that I got into the guild, which is great.
Amazing. Great.
Yeah. So that was really great. And then I just signed with a label called Blonde Medicine. So I'll be recording my first comedy album October 23rd and 24th in San Francisco.
Wow.
And to prepare for that, I'll be in Seattle. I'll be in Portland. I'll be in a bunch of cities trying to run that set. So, and then I got booked for New Year's Eve, which is great, with Greg Proops.
Wow.
So I'm booked for New Year's Eve. I have the comedy album, joined the WGA, so I'm a writer, so book me for writing too. So that's exciting, but I'm also afraid because I know 6 comedians with COVID breakthrough cases.
Wow.
Including Tom Rhodes. You know Tom Rhodes, right? Tom Rhodes got COVID in Las Vegas. Wow. And then I know a bunch of other comics. So it's a
do they have it bad if it's a breakthrough case? Is it bad
What's
at all?
the breakthrough mean? What's that mean? Breakthrough.
Breakthrough means you've already been vaccinated fully, but you still got COVID because Delta is really, really able to kind of get through the immune response. So
I get it.
Breaks through. I just have to go. Can I just go back to this Blonde Medicine?
You're like, I need to be on this label. Why is a brown girl on this label? I'm blonde. Even though
how
it's fake,
do I
I'm
not
still
have that
blonde.
label? And how is that not my label?
They've done a lot of good. Go to their site. They've done a lot of good comedy albums. They're solid. They're very artist forward. I've had a great experience working with them so far.
Love the title.
Good for you.
There's a good joke in there somewhere though. I haven't figured it out yet.
No, well,
On
good
medicine.
for you, Dhaya. That's awesome. You're recording an album. That's really cool.
Yeah, I'll be
That is
happy
really
to
cool.
I'll be happy to get rid of all of that stuff so I can just sell it and then start anew with new
Oh,
things.
that's
It's like
nice. Louis
it's
C.K.
like giving
way.
away all your clothes that you like, but you just need
Yeah.
something different.
I want to do
Yeah.
that. That's one of my goals. I want to just do like an hour and sort of that same thing. Just take all my material and get rid of it and start all over, do something different.
That's how Louis C.K. did it. He's like, after a year, he takes all that material, puts it in his special, and then he starts fresh all over. So he can write a whole hour a year because he does it. He doesn't let himself repeat anything from the previous year.
So he's completely back. I see he's at the Hulu theater.
Yeah, he is 5,000 seat theater. So he didn't do too badly, you know. Like he went from like Madison Square Garden, the full arena, to the Hulu theater, which is still 5,000 seater. So doing not too bad.
Yeah. Well,
Nobody gets canceled. Well, Felicia, how have you changed and what's new for you and you've been killing it in New York. You got your club open again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
really
you
like-
did.
You got top people coming to your club in a matter of months.
yeah, it's been a challenge getting the club scene up and running, but it's been great. The club's been doing really well.
Yes.
It's been a full-time job, but I have a couple of projects that I'm thinking of, other things that like I had my one-woman show that I really enjoyed. I'm thinking about redoing that. I do want to do my hour and just get that material off the table and like start fresh and come up with some new projects, maybe do some touring, have some things in the works, and maybe do a little bit more writing. But I'm an empty nester now, so I have lots of free time. But no, it's been
Free
good.
time is beautiful.
It's been great getting back into the club. I mean, it's just I remember the first show we had. You don't realize how much you missed it and how amazing it was. Like when the first show went up and it was sold out and you get up there and like you have like this, your heart is pounding, and it was just so, and to laugh was just so amazing. We did an all Spanish show at the club. It's called Espanol Please. And it was really interesting because like I speak a little Spanish, but not enough to understand what they were saying. And people were laughing so hard. And I didn't understand a word of any of the jokes, but I was laughing.
Laughter's contagious.
Laughter's contagious. And it just feels so good to laugh and get up there. So
Yeah.
that's been really, really amazing. And I'm hoping to bring more people. Maybe we'll do a Broadish reunion show and we'll all, when Dhaya comes to New York, we'll do a
Yes.
Broadish comedy show.
I loved performing in New York because it's so accessible and the spots were all different and it's so cool. So I would love to come back to New York. What happened in San Francisco, I was doing a bunch of outdoor shows just to be safe, got vaccinated, still did outdoor shows. And then I did a bunch of indoor shows that were like how it was before, like packed, low ceilings, people were just together. And I did a couple of those shows. I was feeling so good. And then after one of those shows, one of the comics is like, sorry, you guys, I've been vaccinated, but now I tested positive for COVID. Everyone get tested. And then 2 audience members at that show also tested positive.
Oh
So
my
now
God.
I have like whiplash. I'm like, should I like go out there and do stuff or should I not? So, I mean, maybe California is a little worse than New York right now, but I'm trying
to figure that out why. I'm trying to figure out why generally California seems to be worse than New York because you're more of an outdoor culture to start with and you
Right.
don't have public transportation. I'm trying to understand why California is consistently worse than New York.
I don't know.
It's weird, right?
I don't know. I do know that when I visited my sister in LA, I saw very few people with masks. And I
Oh,
was like, this is last September. And I was like,
I think
I
it's
also read
because-
that California had a stronger variant than the East Coast variant. It was more infectious pre-Delta.
closer
The
to
California
Asia.
variant.
It like died down cross transatlantic.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, I think I also think that we have a lot of people here who think they're really healthy and they take a lot of supplements and essential oils
Makes
and they
sense.
like subscribe to all that hippy dippy shit and then they're like, I'll just gargle and I'll be free of corona. Where I think New Yorkers are a little bit more practical and
Yeah,
they're
we are.
like,
Cynical.
yeah, I like that though. They're like, we see rats with pizza in its mouth. We could get bubonic plague. We gotta wear a mask. I think New Yorkers just care about each other in a very like abrupt way. Like, so I think Californians are like, yeah, the spirit will take care of you. And New Yorkers
No,
like,
I agree. I agree with that because I have California friends who are like, I'm staying strong with essential oils. I'm like, bitch, get a vax. Like, what are you
That's how
talking
my
about?
Portland friend
You could
was.
do both. You know what I mean? You could do both. You could do the oils and the vax.
It's almost like the extreme ends of the political spectrum, the ultra conservative and the ultra liberal, meet together in the sense of like the ultra conservatives like, oh yeah, God will protect me, and the libs are like, oh my God, essential oils will protect me.
Like, yeah, God versus lavender oil. I'm just kind of like,
Well, on a closing note, guys, I want to say that the one thing I remember one of my kids for their bar mitzvah, the Torah portion was about adaptability and how human beings can adapt. And what has been interesting and incredible about Corona is that we have adapted. And I remember doing a year of Zoom shows thinking, this is great. It's not so bad. I like Zoom. It's amazing. And now we went back to the clubs. And just last night, I had to watch a Zoom show, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That is like so bad. But the good news is we're all adapting, we're all changing, we're all surviving. We'll get through this. And
Well,
it's been a pleasure and a joy to spend the year of Corona with you guys.
oh, it was one of the
And,
highlights of my week for sure.
it has been really nice. And, I don't think I would have, it would have been years before if ever to get to know you, Dhaya and Jocelyn. And I'm really happy for that. So I really,
I got to try black mac and cheese.
yes.
And
Oh
it's
my
like
God.
the fact that I fed Jocelyn, I was very proud of that.
You were proud of
I'll never
that.
forget you in my hallway. I was like, oh, look at baby girl in my hallway. You know what I mean? And then I see you.
You made
and
a plate.
I, I'm not usually jealous, but I'm just like, I was so jealous of that. I was like, I wish I was in New York.
Well, girl, I would
And
cook
the
for
guy
all
that
of
was
you
singing at the
guys.
time, the black guy I was singing at the time was like, oh, if she said make a plate, she's gonna make a plate for you. That's a term of endearment.
Yeah.
It
amongst
totally
black
is.
people.
Because I gave you some good plasticware. I was like, I like her. Because when they don't like you, they'll just put that shit in foil. And it looks like a soup, you know what I mean? Like a mush. And I was like, no, we're gonna give her the good plastic. Because these are my people. You know what I mean? But it's just been really nice. And it's like, Dhaya, I missed you so much.
Oh,
Oh my
thank
God.
you. Thank you.
And
Well,
You brought so much to this show, Dhaya.
thank you. I love all of you. And I love that Felicia quoted the Torah because it made me emotional. It was very sweet. But I have gone to enough Passover Seders to know that at the Seder, people usually say next year in Jerusalem. So I want to say next time in New York City, I
Yeah.
will come to the better coast.
The better coast.
Well, watch out for Broadish Live at West Side Comedy Club. Coming up to
Yes.
your theaters soon everywhere. I'm Felicia Madison.
I'm
Hollie
Jocelyn Chia.
Harper.
I forgot
Damn, we did it again.
Unless we still can't get it right.
Damn,
Like
we don't know the
alphabetical now.
alphabet. We don't know the goddamn alphabet.
I don't know. I don't know English.
I think
ahead, you
Dhaya
say-
comes first, by the way.
That's right. That's right.
yes.
That's first anyway. So you fucked up too, Holly.
I did. I totally fucked up.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm Dhaya Lakshminarayanan.
I'm Hollie Harper.
I'm Jocelyn Chia.
And this is Broadish.
Oh my God, so much fun.